So welcome to Tiny Toys Tuesdays, episode 14. I can't believe we've had almost 15 of these things. It's pretty crazy. So I guess we'll just jump right into it. First and foremost, I just want to make sure we all say congrats to the. I don't know if you were on here when you had the baby, but congrats on the baby, James.
Oh,
I
thank
know you're
you.
probably not getting a whole lot of sleep, but congrats.
Yeah, it's cut heavily into my tournament time.
Yes, I'm sure it has. I'm sure it has. So we know that's what James is up to. Anything else you've been up to, James?
Um, Not a whole lot. It's like on the hobby scene. I still check lists like every weekend to see what the tournaments are doing. Been trying to get. I'm getting ready to move, so I've been trying to inject myself into the Kansas City hobby scene. Talking to people up there, tournament organizers and stuff, and
There you go. Well,
yeah.
we'll be sad when you leave. It'll be sad times. You'll have to come visit quite often. Um, Cameron, what have you been up to? Still, are you painting your Black Knight still?
No, I've been a bad boy. I went to the tournament over the weekend, and then I've just been playing Legend of Zelda, and that's about it.
Yeah, it seems like
Yeah.
that's a big hit. My buddy Nick has it, and he's put in a lot of hours, and he's even gotten very far. So,
Yeah, I've been a bad boy.
as far as I'm concerned, I've just been testing lots of lists, trying to figure out what I want to play, and of course we'll go over that tonight. And you guys will roast my lists and be like, "What are you thinking?" And I'm gonna be like, it sounded cool. Um, but I have tested some of these. I haven't tested all of them yet, but I've tested some of them. Some of them I'm like, maybe this isn't great, but we'll go over them tonight. But it'll be fun. It'll be fun times. We'll also go over the tournament that four of the House of Hobbies people went to this last weekend, including Cameron and I. So we'll go over those lists, the top three, and just kind of dissect them and figure out why they worked. So we'll go into the next thing, which is Smite GT. So go sign up for it. We want to get as many people to this thing as possible. I want it to be pretty cool. Again, I think the biggest thing for me is just having Jason from Monument be there and sponsoring this event. That's such a cool thing to do. So go sign up. It's on BCP if you haven't already. It is cheaper to do it now than the day of, so definitely do it sooner than later.
This is my baby. I'm handing
This
it
is
off.
James's baby. This was the James. He was in charge of it last year, and graciously assisted us with doing the AOS side this year. So hopefully we
Yes.
don't ruin it.
Hopefully, I severely cut down on the amount of terrain you had to build.
Yeah, we're building a lot of terrain, but I mean a lot of it's taken care of from Matt Baugh and people, so we really appreciate it. So yes, Smite GT, go sign up. Um, Next, the art of the week. So I was looking at the Facebook. I'm on a Facebook Warhammer painter page, right? And I scrolled down and I saw this Bellicor, and I was like, dude, this thing is so clean. I think Alexander. I don't know if you like Alexander or Alex. I think he's in the chat, but I don't know where you're from. I couldn't figure out um, where you were from, but definitely go take a look at his work. I know he updated his page, but he has some extremely clean paint jobs. It's not like what we saw last week, where like it was like over exaggerated paint jobs. These are like super clean paint jobs, and I just absolutely when the paint when the models are when they work for a clean paint job, like this guy definitely knows where it's at. That Bellicor is so clean. It looks so good.
I'm
Um,
slowly learning how to do wings like that, but nowhere near ready for
yeah,
that.
it is. It's very gorgeous. So I definitely go recommend check his page out. It's fantastic. I am not that talented, so Slab chop, baby. That's where it's at. All right. All right. We will move on. Okay, so let's go over the tournament recap for this last weekend. It was just a local RTT. There were 10 players. The big eye opener here, though, is the amount of death players. Erica,
oh my gosh.
Erica went into it and she's like, it's the Day of the Dead because there were so many death players. We had the only two that weren't were Fire Slayers and Nurgle. The rest of them were all death. And it was just pretty wild to see that. I kind of want to get into this before we get into Cameron's list. I think we have a problem with Soulblade, and I think the community also sees that. I think there needs to be some FAQ. Sure, that still needs to come out. Point increases probably need to come out, but is there a way to fix SBGL right now? Is there a way that we can rein this in a little bit? The win percentage that from the last thing that I saw was like 67% or something stupid high, and I was like, wow, this is a problem. So
I think an easy fix, at least from my perspective, is move the return from a 3-inch to a 6-inch. And why I say a 6-inch is because if you place a model on the center of the objective, then that means that your opponent can't summon 20 to 30 models on an objective that you just took from them. So it requires it gives them at least a turn of having an objective to score on you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because playing the tournament, I believe I took and canceled out 7 battle tactics out of the 3 games just by resurrecting something onto an objective, taking it away from them or preventing them from getting to it.
So that would definitely help it. I definitely know Neferata needs to be fixed, right? We all kind of know that. That redeployment in the beginning on some maps is absolutely egregious. I can't complain. I was running Legion of Blood and I used it all 3 games, and it probably won me all 3 games. So it definitely needs to be fixed. I think the bigger issue that I see is just the absurd amount of models on the board. Do you think it's a problem? Because, like, that being said, I can't say it's too much of a problem. I mean, the last person I fought was a Viracos player, and he had a ton of models on the board. Will had 100 zombies in his list, right? So,
I don't think it's actually that bad. Like, out of everything that I faced, almost everything dies in 1 turn. Because it's a lot of models, but everything's like on a 5-up or a 6-up save.
Until you play Nurgle, who doesn't have any. I guess it's very rock paper scissors, right? Some armies are going to deal with it a lot better than others, and that's fine, I guess. But I'm hoping that it doesn't become something where we see Soulblight. Like, I don't want to go to the Phoenix GT and see 24 lists running Soulblight because of the way they're working right now. Like, that just doesn't seem fun.
I get to see a lot of undead miniatures.
Yeah.
I still feel like even the Soulblight rendition we have now is good, but I don't know if I see it necessarily overtaking KO and Lumineth in the top spots. It's just the range projection is so good, and KO's battle tactics are fantastic right now, and a block of Thunderers is going to kill stuff very quickly.
Yeah, well, we'll get into that. I have a KO list, and let me tell you, those Thunderers are no joke. They are way too cheap. Way too cheap. So, just getting back to the tournament recap, there were 4 House of Hobby members there, so that was cool. We definitely took over the tournament for sure. 1st, 2nd, 6th, and 8th, which was pretty cool. So the other thing to note too was there was a Nurgle and a Fire Slayers player. Jed played Fire Slayers, and I heard that list was really good. Not only was it really good, but the he ended up going to a tournament the day after. So did Doug at Old World Games, and Jet won with that Fire Slayers list.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I faced him in the finals.
Yep.
It's a really good list.
Jed's a good player.
Yeah.
Doug's too. Both good players.
I didn't look at the Fire Slayers list. I didn't talk to Jed all that much about his list. Cameron, do you just want to go over his list real quick? Like what you? I mean, obviously I don't have it in front of me, but
if I remember correctly, it's like 5 or 6 heroes, and the entire point of the list is to have one big blob of Hearthguard Berserkers. He had 15 of them. The Lord with it that makes it so you can pass wounds off to them, and then the rest of the army are just Veerkites of like Veerkites. I can't remember what they're saying, but the battle line that isn't the Hearthguard Berserkers.
Volkite.
Yeah, Volkite. There we go.
Yep. I know he was running a bunch of those.
And he has the hero that whenever 5 models die, they can give that buff to a unit, and he just increases their damage by 1, and then he makes it so that they fight on death. And so you charge them, they go ahead and they attack first, they fight on death, they do +1 damage. They give a multitude, they have a crap ton of attacks. If they charge you, they all have a 2-up to hit, and it's just a lot of attacks that are guaranteed to hit, and it does a lot of damage.
Seems like a pretty good list. I think he's probably taking that to the GT, so we'll see that.
Yeah, I can see that going on.
Yeah, so pretty scary Fire Slayers list. I hope I don't have to play Jet. Okay, so let's go into Cameron's list. He won the tournament, so congrats. The three maps we played was Position Over Power, Only the Worthy, and Path of Champion. Do you just want to walk us through your list, Cameron, real quick?
It's a list of like 190 wounds, and the entire point of it is to be a 2-drop and then set up my people to be able to box you into your starting zone.
Yeah, and it works.
And then from there, be able to counterattack. You put dogs, you summon in dogs with the Veerkos within 9 inches, and then you just move the Graveguard right behind the dogs. They have 2-inch reach, so if you attack the dogs, oh no, dogs died. And then the Graveguard get a full attack on you.
I used the same strategy in my list. I have the same setup for the dogs and Graveguard. It's a great setup.
I pulled it on you once, and you're like, Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to use that from now until forever. So let's go over just, you don't have to go like deep dive, but like first round, Veerkos versus Veerkos. Because I played this guy in the 3rd round. Lots of bodies here. Any takeaways from the mirror matchup?
It's just going forward. I think this is his first tournament ever. I think
it was his first.
I think I was his first like actual game.
Poor guy. His name was Greg, by the way. And Greg, if you're watching this at any point in time, you just play with Cameron and you try to learn as much as you can.
And it was just a whole bunch of bodies, whole bunch just pinning things in the right positions, and he tried to push through, but he couldn't push through fast enough, and then he just got stuck in a blob of all these things attacking him all at once.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, that seems like it's a cool mirror matchup. I mean, obviously you've played this a lot more, and you're much more accustomed to Soulblight, but going into round 2, you played Doug with Null Myriad.
It was an interesting matchup. He tried to do the same thing, of just straight pushing into me. And what ended up happening is that I just kept on resurrecting and pushing so many models onto objectives that he just couldn't take the objectives back from me. And then he had Archon just too much forward, and I would manage to get 2 sets of Black Knights just to straight up charge Archon. And then from there, I just attacked Catacross with some Dire Wolves, and now his entire army doesn't get his buff, and he just couldn't. Everything just fell down from there.
Yeah. Poor Doug. He didn't really get to use No Myriad to its extent in this tournament, just because there wasn't a whole lot of heavy match
Yeah,
bliss. So.
yeah.
And that's the problem with running No Myriad, right? It's a very rock paper scissors. Like it's either gonna work or it's not gonna work. And there's no in
It's
between.
either amazing or it does nothing.
Does nothing. Yep, exactly. Round 3, you did. That was the one that you played against Jed. You kind of already talked about it. Any takeaways from that? Was there just too many bodies he couldn't deal with?
It was more of about time that he got to the places where he could get to. It was too late.
Okay, so it was just slow.
Yeah, he hit hard, he pushed in, but I was able to just slowly whittle him down, slowly and surely, and then he just couldn't get the points to catch up to me.
Gotcha. Okay.
He also failed to kill Radikar and Belladonna by 1 wound four times in a row.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Oof. Radikar would not die. He was in combat
dude,
with
I will say,
Guard Berserkers the entire game.
Radikar is no joke. That dude hits like a truck. Any changes to your list?
I think of maybe trying to put in a Necromancer, lower the amount of zombies to 20.
Really?
Put in a Necromancer because you can do some really wonky things with that.
Interesting. Okay.
Like the idea I have right now is if you go second, you can summon in the 10 free dogs. If you can get 3 dogs for free back with your second heroic action, you can then go ahead and fight with, try to do the Dance of Macabre, and you can be within 6 inches of your opponent, and then you can immediately just pile in the hero phase and get to your opponent.
Interesting. Okay. I don't know if it's needed, but it's a cool trick.
No, yeah, I just think it's a cool idea.
Yeah.
And having more spells is always great.
Might I inquire as to what purpose the White King on Skeletal Steed provides your army?
So the White King on Skeletal Steed
good.
makes those Black Knights ridiculously powerful.
They are broken with that stupid steed. Let me tell you.
It makes it so how the Black Knight's charge works is you charge in, and for every model in the unit, you roll 2 dice on a 5 up as a mortal wound.
I thought it was 1 dice, and Cameron showed me. I was like, "You get the hell out of here! It's not 2 dice." And I reread it, and it's 2 dice for every model in that stupid thing. And if you have the White King on Steed within range, it's every 4 up does a mortal wound on a charge. Absolutely insanity.
And it gives them reroll charges for free.
It is nice. Good. They are so cheap. They're cheap as chips. They're, 12-inch movement?
12-inch movement, 5 for 110 points, so I have 2 reinforced stacks.
Unreal. They're gonna get a points increase. I'm sorry.
I could see it.
It's gonna happen. Literally crazy. Like, you're doing more mortal wounds probably with those 10 than you would
Oh yeah, that's where all of my army's damage comes from. Is just the mortal wounds and the Graveguard, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right, so another Soulblight list. This is mine. I went 3-0, but I struggled to get some battle tactics, and my grand strategy was not. I should not have picked my grand strategy. I don't know.
Which one's less for domination?
That's you have to control more graveyards.
Oh, yeah. I didn't have that problem. I had a crap ton of models.
Yeah. I struggled with that as a grand strategy. It's just, my list doesn't work so much like yours, where it's just bodies. Like, I have to actually play with the models. So
I have too many models to play with.
So mine is basically just all centered around, obviously Neferata, the zombie dragon, and the Blood Knights. The Graveyard are then there just for extra damage, and then everything else just there for screens. The MVP of a lot of my matches were the damn skeletons. Dropping those things in and zoning things out was fantastic. I am very happy with the way that I played, getting those skeletons out and just zoning stuff out. I'll just go over my stuff real quick. First off, that some of this stuff is just too egregious. I feel bad about using some of it. I feel like some of it probably needs to be changed. the 3-up Ethereal for the Zombie Dragon is really good. Obviously the Neferata mechanic to redeploy is really good. And then the stupid spell, what spell is it Neferata's own spell? It's the spell where you basically don't incur any rend.
Yeah, it's Neferata's own spell where you choose a unit and they aren't affected by rend, but you can still increase their save.
Yes, which is crazy. So essentially all my Blood Knights were on 2-up, ignoring rend, and I just sent those guys into town. Like, if there was a problem, have fun with getting through 10 Blood Knights at 2-up rend. Like, good luck. And then with the hunger, and they not once in any of my matches did all of them die. Like, they just would not die. So pretty egregious on that front. I loved playing with the Zombie Dragon. I know it doesn't hit like a truck to some, but it did some damage. Being able to use the heroic action for no wards was absolutely crucial in the matches that I played against. And it just ripped through like Graveguard and all of that stuff. It just ripped through things. So I was pretty happy with the Zombie Dragon. It did die once in one of my matches, but it's pretty good. So just real quick on my matches, I played Nurgle first, and pretty much it was a pretty easy matchup, just because he was super slow, right? And I had him go first. I gave him every single priority, and I just sat on points. And I didn't even really push into him. I just sat on him and I had him come to me. And I just won on points, and that's all that really happened there. I will say that stupid little Sloppity Bile Piper prevented me from a damn battle tactic, and I was so irritated about it. I had to get my general. It was the one where you had to heal with the hunger with your general or 2 other vampires, right? And he used that stupid
no pile-in,
and he, as things were dying, he was pulling him off the side where the Vampire Lord was, or the Zombie Dragon, and I could only run 1 attack with my 3-inch, and I missed all of them. So I didn't even heal one wound to him, and ended up failing the battle tactic. So good old Nurgle. It was fun. That no pile-in, that little Sloppity man, he is worth every point. Great model.
I love it.
So that was basically that match. Next match, I went up against Will, our House of Hobbies buddy, and he... So this is the one where Neferata was really egregious, because the map was half and half. So I literally just, as I saw his deployment, he didn't drop both 40 groups of zombies. So he essentially was just a line of zombies, Graveguard, and then all of his heroes. And I just said, okay, sure. And so I moved Neferata, my Blood Knights, and the Zombie Dragon all up on the line. Went first, charged him, and just kept him in his zone the entire time. And then with the Graveguard, or not the Graveguard, the Skeletons, I just zoned out where the Graveyards were, so he couldn't drop the 40 zombies, because you need a lot of room to do that. So that's basically how I won that match, and I just kept getting points. And he couldn't get out of his zone, and he couldn't drop anything. We talked after the match, and I told him he never ever need, like, don't hold those 40 zombies in reserve. Always drop those. They're great for screening. You can create origami on the field and kind of figure out how you want to maneuver with those guys. Like, it really does work. But that was a big downside, is he left those 240s in the graveyards. And he just let me go into the Graveguard, and I just annihilated everything. I will say, Radikar took out my Zombie Dragon with no problem. He just literally annihilated him. That dude is insane. He is so good.
Radicar's amazing.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. And then
great model too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then last, if I wasn't so sick of Soulblight already, I played another Soulblight list for Virkos, and it was Greg for round 3, and he knew what Neferata did, so he pulled everything back. Like, he was so far back. And I was like, all right, go first. And with all of his army, he was so slow, he couldn't get to the points. And the cool thing about my list is it's super quick. Like I got a lot of quick things in this list that just get me up the board. So
Like
once
direwolves.
what?
Like direwolves.
And blood knights, like they just move up the board, and I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah,
So most of his Viracos list was real slow, right? It was like a lot of zombies, a lot of skeletons, a lot of stuff that was slow. And I just ended up pushing up and grabbing the points and just having him come at me. That's basically what I did for every single matchup. Was I pushed in, held up things, and I just kind of sat on points. And heck, I don't even think my Graveguard got into one single combat. I don't think they got into one single combat, Dean. No. Yeah, they didn't get in their goal. They didn't get in with, well, and they didn't get in with the... Oh, they got on with the last match. I did get into some direwolves with the Graveguard. But that's it. I mean, I just pushed in and just held back.
Yeah. That was gonna be my one critique. I was like, with the way this list looks, I would actually consider dropping the Graveguard for some more bodies.
Yeah.
Because you've got hammers.
I don't though. Like I don't. The Blood Knights didn't do anything. Like they sat there and they were a anvil. They literally just sat on things. The zombie dragon is decent in combat, but that's it. That's all the power I have. If I don't have the Graveguard, I don't know what is hitting in this army.
I mean, yeah. And
The
the thing is, like, are you redeploying the Graveguard, or are they walking up all the time?
I mean, they're I'm using them the same way Cameron's using them, right? You screen them with the dogs. They have the 2-inch weapon, and you just push them forward, and you have someone hit your dogs, and then you strike back. Like you don't care about people going into your dogs with the Graveguard, unless you're getting hit from behind or something.
Right. The thing is, like in Cameron's list, he has the support pieces to make Graveguard, like overhit what their points are. So he's given them extra attacks. He's given them exploding sixes. So he's making Graveguard a real hammer. And so when he hits with his Graveguard, they're going to hit above their weight class by quite a bit. Your Graveguard are going to hit at their weight class.
I mean, with the Vampire Lord, I actually like...
I mean, you can give them one with the Vampire Lord, but...
It's good, though. Like, even that, like, those Graveguard are no joke. They slap. They are real good. I really do like the Graveguard. Now, I will say, I don't disagree with you. More bodies would be good, and I was going to take more zombies, but Cameron took a lot of my zombies. FYI.
Yep.
Because I don't blame him for not wanting to paint. What, you have 40? 20?
I took 40, and I'm not painting 40 zombies. Love Soul Blight. Don't like zombies.
Yeah. So that's definitely something I'll take to heart. I'll see if I can change something out there. I'm not a huge fan of the Death Rattle skeletons, but I do the 4-up at the beginning of combat is pretty good, man. Like it's a pretty good little ability. I really do.
I feel like a bigger block of skeletons gives you more of like that staying power.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want them to be a staying power, take them in 20 to 30. Yeah. But if you want them for just taking objective or a small little roadblock, then 85 points is great.
The number one thing they did this last weekend was they zoned things out to where things couldn't get behind me, or something like that. Like they worked real good, and I made origami to make sure I zoned out as much 9 inches as I could, and it was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so then that's that. We'll get to Doug's list. Doug is a good friend. He's not a House of Hobbies member, but one day I'll recruit him. He used No Myriad. This is No Myriad. He got 3rd. I think in the tournament he got 6th on Sunday on the Old World Games tournament, so he didn't do as well, but I know the competition on Sunday was pretty good. I mean, it's a pretty standard to me. This is a pretty standard OBR list with Catacross, Archon. The only thing that I would change out of his list. I'd get rid of the Harvester and the Guard. I want
I
to
don't
like
know,
them.
man. I fought those guard and the harvester,
Okay.
and the mix with the change of them being 6 inches away instead of the 3 inches. With Catacros's aura, those things just don't die.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Just
fair.
nothing's killing those things.
Yeah.
That's fair. I mean, I feel like, yeah. I mean, it's
Yeah,
bodies. It's bodies, right?
Right. It's so the Mortec Guard don't die.
And they
But
do damage.
I feel like one of the best worst rolls in that book is the Stalkers. And so it's like when I look at this list, I'm like, Mortec Guard, okay. Death Rider's okay. Mortis Guard, Harvester. But I'm just thinking to myself, how many of those points could I make into Stalkers? And then like buff Stalkers
Yep.
and bring back Stalkers. And it just
And
it just feels to me like he's rolling into Guard and he's got some staying power with it. But I just feel like if this was a mirror match, except they had Stalkers instead of his other troop choice there, I think he loses those engagements.
Yeah, no, I agree. I would definitely take Stalkers as well. I think until they get point increased or FAQ'd or whatever, until they get nerfed, I would take them every day. I'm not a big fan of the Guard now. They're okay, and I think with the Harvester they're fine. And he's got bodies, but man, the powerhouse of those Stalkers are crazy. Also, I wanted to mention something. Broken Bristles mentioned the Riders of Ruin change. Keep in mind, until they FAQ it, it doesn't say a normal move. So keep in mind that, like, one of the things I was doing, like, you can, when you move, charge, pile in any of the moves, you can do the D3 Mortals every single time. Yes, I mean it's extremely good. Oh, we lost James. So definitely keep that in mind. It's really good. Anything else here, Cameron, on his list?
I fought it, and I was very surprised by how well those Mortec Guard did.
Okay, all right. I'll give you a shot.
with Catacros's buff, you get +1 to attack, +1 to the save, and then you just bludgeon for an increased rend. And it's just so many attacks that are all going to be at like -2 rend.
So let me ask you something. What do you think about Crematorians and running like a ton of Guard and Harvesters?
That might actually work. Seeing how well that did.
Yeah.
Put Catacross in there and Crematorian with Mortec Guard. It's just they're going to do so much damage to you, and they're just never going to die.
I might think about running something like that because I can't do it because I don't have Catacross. Erica's using Catacross. She's using FBR, so I can't really do that. But I was always curious if that Crematorians, because I have a list where it's just all Mortec Guards, some Harvesters, and Catacross, and just regurgitating a bunch of wounds back.
Oh, we don't die, but you die, and then if we kill you, then we come back, and just it's just so much.
Right. Let's get into the lists. Okay, so there's a couple of caveats to this, right? So obviously I'm gonna get roasted by both James and Cameron, and I'm sure everyone online, right? So it's always nervous to put a bunch of lists on it because people just go crazy, like, why are you doing that? So there's a couple caveats for this, right? First off, there's 10 lists. I'm not quite sure what I'm taking to the GT. It doesn't have to be super ultra competitive, right? Like there's gonna be Jeremy, I can't pronounce his last name, Lafrabre, or it's something like that. He's like one of the best KO players. Thomas Guan's gonna be there. There's a bunch of people from California. I don't expect me to get very far in the rankings, right? So I'm not expecting this to be super competitive. I still want to go 4-1, 3-2. That's the goal, right? So it has to be somewhat competitive. The other thing is every list that you have that I'm going to show here is 3 or less models that need to be painted, right? Because I don't have time with this show and all the other stuff for work and whatnot. I don't have time, a whole lot of time to be painting. So that's the other caveat. So definitely keep those in mind. Obviously, these aren't going to be the most meta lists out there, right? I'm just trying to make something work that I enjoy, right? That's the goal. So I want to get your guys' take because it's going to be very interesting. So that's my spiel on roasting me for these lists. And then at the end, I told Cameron and James to kind of rank these from 1 to 10 to see where they rank, and I'll show a little ranking chart after this. All right, so let's go on to the first list. I have actually tested this list. I call this Bellicor and the Chaos Bacon. Because it's just a bunch of blood crushers. These, and they definitely have staying power. I tested this against KO, and I'll say this. KO does not like Bellicor. Bellicor was a great counter to that KO list, and it was kind of fun. But this is got a combination between hammer and anvil. Obviously, you can see the anvils, and you know the hammers. Obviously, the bloodthirsters. Bellicor's a great counter to many armies. With the rise of Soul Blight, I don't know if this is still viable because of the bodies. I know if you swing hard on Insensate Rage, you can do some serious damage with that. But I mean, you gotta roll real well. And then this is pretty much all I own that's painted for this, other than outside like allies and whatnot. But what are your guys' thoughts on Bellicor and Chaos Bacon?
So we have a few tests that we need to go through.
Okay.
The first one is, can it beat giants?
I think Scarbrand can.
Yeah, I think if you swing high on your rolls, they can do some serious damage.
Yeah,
it is a 2-drop as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Scarbrand and Bloodthirster of Incessant Rage, because they changed the Bloodthirster of Incessant Rage's damage profile from a D6 to a D3 plus 3.
Yes.
On each
And I
of
lied
these
to you. It's a
swings.
3-drop, not a 2-drop. I forgot about Bellicor. He's not in that. So I guess
The Blood Crushers, I don't think will kill a giant.
No, they absolutely won't. They're not there to kill a giant. They're there to hold something up. I mean, they've got a 3-up save, 5 wounds now. They went up in wounds, and they're literally just there to screen and be an anvil. Right?
I can't remember which ones are blood crushers. I'm gonna look this up real quick.
Those are the
human ones.
The non-mortal skull crushers.
Oh, those are the demon versions.
Yes.
These are the demon ones.
Yeah. And trust me, I wish I had the mortal ones, but I don't.
I have some of the mortal ones. I haven't finished painting them though.
James,
or I'd let you use them.
Just to help me, I need them painted.
Like none of my corn stuff's painted.
I think it's decent, but you're having a lot of things put on like 2 models, like Scarbrand and the Bloodthirster, and like Bellicor's there for like an anti-KO and anti
Archeon.
Yeah, like an anti-big model.
Right.
So I think it would do decent, but there's a lot of anything that's not anti-big model, or that's anything that's not just one big model in the field, it's going to have a hard time.
Yeah, no, I agree. The matchup I had against KO, this list actually won, but not by much. By the end of turn 5, almost all my stuff was dead. And guess how many Thunders were still left alive? Yes, all of them. It was obnoxious. But it ended up still winning on points. It's decently quick, and it's got some good screening there. But yeah, it's okay. 118 wounds.
I don't know.
I think it might struggle into like BCR, like with the Kragnos BCR lists.
Yeah.
Slaves of Darkness, like Colt's list with the Chaos Warrior Vanguard spam.
Yeah.
It might be difficult to deal with that.
Okay.
I don't see these guys winning against Fire Slayers like at all.
Yeah.
Fair.
Like you're going to go ahead and charge Scarbrand in, and they're like, "Oh man, all right,
Dead.
I go first, and he's dead."
Yeah.
Does it beat Trolls and Gits? I don't think it beats Troll spam and Gits.
if I can screen well, I think it might. Again, so here's the problem with this list, right? Is it's highly dependent on Scarbrand and the Bloodthirster as far as damage,
Mhm.
right? And the issue with that is you need to roll well. If you roll
Right.
really well with Bloodthirster and Scarbrand, nothing's going to beat this, right? It's going to do so many mortal wounds to everything. The problem is if you don't roll well, it just falls over dead. And that's exactly what happened in the game. I ran the Bloodthirster into the Thunderers, not with Unleash Hell. I had some Blood Crushers into them already, and it completely whiffed on my attacks. I think I killed one Thunder, and that was it.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So and they just shot back, and I was dead. So there is definitely problems with this. I was just curious.
I think it'll do good in some of the like. I think it'll do good against Techless. I think
What do you-
it will.
What about instead of Bellicor, you ran? I feel like potentially in this list like an Incarnate.
Okay.
Because if
Incarnate.
you think like, what is Bellicor doing? He's shutting down a unit. The Incarnate does the same thing. It just ties him into combat and does damage.
Well, and it can tie up more things into combat. That's not a
Right.
bad idea. It's not a bad idea.
You can tie them up, and then you can have your Bloodthirster and Scarbrand run around it and
Yeah.
start killing everything.
Yes,
I'm
and
gonna
he's
make
fast
that note.
too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
Okay.
I
Okay.
like that idea.
I like that idea too. I'm definitely a fan of that. Yeah. Okay.
Does the Incarnate get the ignore spells and all that?
no,
No, it
he
doesn't.
won't get any of the cool stuff, but Bellicor doesn't get it either.
Yeah, he doesn't either. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, fair enough.
So, and that's fine. Again, the Bellicor was there to shut down something, right? And he did a great job doing that. All right. So let's move on to the next list. We already talked about this one, right? This is the Vamp Dogs. We've already talked about. Oh no, this is the Flesh Eater ones. This isn't the. This isn't my Soul Blight. This is my Flesh Eaters. So I ran this against Cameron and his list, and it didn't do well. He just has so many bodies that I was zoned out quite a bit, and when Cameron got on the points, I couldn't get him off of it. The problem with Flesh Eaters, right, is it's super swingy. They
It's
either
you
hit like
kill things with that Terrorgeist, or
you don't.
you lose.
Yeah. I liked it because the addition of the Blood Knights and Valdama, which is exactly 400 points, gave me some other outs because I could create some dogs and get them to tie into some units, and then Blood Knights are just hard to take down. But
I think Blood Knights are actually a great ally.
I agree. I
like
do think
after
that.
our fight with him, I was like, wow, they still retain like everything that makes them good.
Yeah. Yep.
So
I don't think you need Belladonna though.
yeah. So my critiques on this list, I'm gonna lean on the competitive side here. I think.
Yep.
I think we cut out the Belladama, the Blood Knights. I think we cut out a unit of Crypt Ghouls. I would really like to see 2 units of 9 Cryptors.
Yeah. So
Because that's just a 9 unit of Cryptors is just so good.
Right. No,
Yeah.
and don't get me wrong, right? Like that's the meta list is run 9 Cryptors or 9 Flayers and go that route. Unfortunately, I only have 6 of them that are painted, and I only have 6 Flayers that are painted.
I have
So.
6 Cryptors as well.
Are they painted?
I have 6 Flayers.
So if you need to borrow some, you let me know.
I don't. So far, this is pretty down on my list. I don't think this is very competitive, unfortunately. I know people are doing really well with Flesh Eater, but I think you really need to know them, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that by the GT.
Yeah, I see. So like if you cut out the Volgarth Courtier, the Belladama, and the Infernal Courtier, because you can summon in a Volgarth Courtier, you don't need them in your list. You can summon them in with the Abhorrent Ghoul King on Royal Terrorgeist.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it gives you a Volgarth Courtier, which you're going to use with the Haunter Courtier to bring back your Crypt horrors.
Right.
And so that's how you get your 2 big blocks, and you're constant returning them.
Well,
I would also get 1 normal Aberrant Ghoul King.
I don't
Yeah.
have. I don't have one.
I
And
have one of those as well.
You probably do. Yeah, both you probably do. But
Yeah.
okay, maybe I'll give him another shot. Maybe another test run just to see.
Because the one normal one gives you 10 ghouls to throw out in the back,
Yeah.
as well as it makes it so you have the spell where you can add one to the attack characteristic.
Yeah.
Yep.
An additional spellcast.
Cameron, we went over that game at the end. There's a couple things I could have done differently that game, like getting the Terrorgeist into the Graveguard. That was a good call. That's probably something I should have done. But let me tell you, when those Black Knights hit everything on that left side, they just all crumbled. Just all died. It's like, all right, cool. That was a cool game. Yeah. So yeah, fun. I will say.
Well, just think like if he put all those Black Knights into like a 9-man block of Crypt Horrors and killed like 6 of them, you just bring them all back on your turn.
I will say, the painted Flesh Eater Quartz army that I have is so nice.
His models look amazing.
I want to use them so
like
bad.
lava, like red and black lava themed. They look amazing.
Yeah, it's so cool. Like good airbrushed on them. Like it's really cool. They need a new book, and I'll take them.
I think they're honestly very competitive right now. It's just that there's some books that are a little better than them, but I don't think there's a lot of people playing them because the book is dated. But they have some. They have. I think the Volgarth Courtier is probably the best GC in the game right now. At 8 wounds.
I disagree. I know exactly which one it is. It's
Mega Boss. Mega Boss is pretty good.
It's the Mega Boss. That Mega Boss is a GC that kills and just doesn't die.
And then he just continues to get stronger. I think the Mega Boss is great.
My only thing with him is he's not as fast as the Courtier. The Courtier can move 12 inches.
Yeah, that's true. That Courtier is super fast.
So he moves 8 inches when you spend a CP to do it. Ooh.
You're gonna be spending that CP anyways with your Maw Crusher.
They don't care. They don't care about those CPs. All right. Okay. So cool. So maybe I'll give them another shot. Maybe I'll borrow some of your stuff, Cameron, and we'll give it another shot. All right. Rank that one. Next. All right. Underwater Prime Time. I just got done testing this list. It's okay. The problem is I don't have a lot of... Now, this is... Out of all the armies we have painted, this probably is our best painted army. Like, it is beautiful. This freaking IDK army is beautiful. The problem is I don't have a whole lot of it. So I tried to make as much of it as I could work. And it was okay. It was all right. Not a lot of wounds in it, though. So this thing dies real quick. The whole... if I get the Emerald Lifestorm out, though, I'm what? 2d3 plus 3? Returning stuff, which is pretty nice.
They're all gonna die.
Yeah, they're pretty weak.
I just picture this list going against Cameron's Slanesh list, and I'm like, what's left after turn 1?
Yeah.
You know what that is? That's just a handshake. All right, that was a good game.
All right. Well, obviously this is not getting any awards here. So,
I think though, like,
I will say,
you just gotta lean more into your blocks of troops. Right. I think you've got so few wounds because you're so hero heavy.
Yeah. I know. The battle line that I have is all that I have painted. Like, unfortunately.
Right.
I will say the 20 thralls hit like a truck, dude. Those things.
Oh yeah.
Hit.
The
like
problem with the list
truck.
is that you're spread too much everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're trying to dip your toe into everything, and it makes it so it's not going to work.
Yeah, I think you either go thralls or you go reavers. Pick which side of the fence you on.
Even then, get rid of like Celeste and Prime, and then just put 20 more thralls, and then you just
Yeah.
If you're going to be going into the Namarti, then go into the Namarti.
Yes.
Right, and I think the problem is I'm trying to make this work with not enough models, and I mean, you know, it was fun. I definitely like playing them. I'm not sure where they sit in the meta right now, but they're not as overpowered as I thought they once were. Like I think they're just below average.
I think they do well into KO and Lumineth.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah,
I mean, they are
do
kind of
well against everything that's competitive, and then that is it.
Yeah, that's it.
And
As
then,
soon as you face that one guy that brought Iron Jaws, you're
Oh,
gonna
you're
get
done.
exploded. You're done.
Oh, they're playing Slaanesh. Oh, you're done.
Done.
Oh,
Yeah,
you're playing Sylvaneth. Oh, they're done.
yeah,
done.
yeah,
Well, we had a good game. Handshake.
yeah,
Stormcast Eternals.
And we're done.
yeah. Okay, all right. You know that's why it's on here. There's 10 lists. This is one of them. All right. Well, I guess move on then. That's probably going to be one of the lower ones. All right. This is my KO army. This is pretty fun.
Gotta lean in to see this.
Yeah,
This-
yeah, me too.
Oh, I know it's really small. I'll go through the list because I know it's really, really small. It couldn't fit all on the page, so I apologize. It's Barack Urbaz, and it basically sets the gun haulers to battle line. I have 4 gun haulers, 15 thunders, an ironclad, a chemist, an admiral, and 2 engine masters with the engine harness, the guys on foot. Yes, I wish I had the ones with the dirigible suit, but I don't. It's just the harnesses. I also have the Soul Scream Bridge. So this is your typical KO list, right? The only difference between my list and maybe someone else's, I'm running 4 gun haulers, and essentially all I'm doing is I'm taking the ironclad, I'm throwing it down, releasing the thunders, and then I'm taking the ironclad, I'm getting it back behind my 4 gun hauler screens. And now you have to get through 4 gun hauler screens at 10 wounds each on a 3M.
This army is the I'm going to try to wipe the board because otherwise I'm not doing anything.
Sorta. I still think it has some staying power. You're gonna have
What
to
do you-
focus on the Thunderers or the
like you-
Ironclad.
So this is what you do. I surround the Thunderers, and I just don't fight them. And I have the point.
Yeah, you're not gonna fight Thunder. They're gonna do massive amount of damage though.
Oh, what?
Like
Am I going to be able to kill them just for you to resurrect them?
Well, what are you gonna? What's your alternative? Just to die?
Yeah, I'm going to die anyway. Surround them. I take the point. Not
Okay.
bad.
Well, then you also have
It's not like you're going anywhere.
4 gun haulers and an Ironclad you have to deal with.
Oh yeah, that's 2 models per area.
True. I'm not discounting that. So what you're saying is this fails.
You have enough killing power, but things that like you have it here, Soulblight Gravelords. You don't have that much killing power. Things with I'm not sure how well they'll do against
Like
Lumineth.
OBR.
Let's see,
I don't
OBR.
think
Yeah,
so. Oh.
you're not going to be able to kill everything in OBR, especially if they have categories.
The thing is like I'm locking them in their zone. Like they're not able to get anywhere.
You don't have that many models.
I think Stalkers could chew through if you tried to lock them in. But I'm more
That's
interested,
if
like,
the Stalkers live turn 1, right?
well,
Yeah,
you're gonna
but-
kill like 5 units of Stalkers.
Well, depending on the list, right? But like I'm gonna remove whatever is a threat turn 1.
Are you what? So who casts the Soul Scream Bridge?
Chemist.
The chemist does.
Yep.
With spell in a bottle, and does he
Yes.
ride in the Ironclad?
Yes.
And you're dropping him with the Thunderers so that they can move.
Well, I gotta drop the Chemist, the Admiral, and the Thunderers, right? Because that's how they
Okay.
get the -4 rend, which is
Okay.
ridiculous. And I gotta
mean-
say, after testing with the KO, like those Thunderers don't move. And I get your point, Cameron. I get your point. Like you're just gonna ignore them, put something that you don't care about into them, and just walk away. And I understand that, but
Like I'm thinking like what my list would be.
right.
What I would do specifically is you're probably going to kill 1 or 2 of my heroes, and then my turn I'm going to move direwolves up, and I'm going to be just in combat, and now you're going to spend your turn killing direwolves. I will just neuter your thunderers in 1 turn, but not everything's going to be able to do that. The problem is anything that can go ahead and neuter those thunderers in 1 turn will win against this list.
I agree.
How do you think it fares against Night Haunt? I feel like Night Haunt survives like with their 5-up ward.
Well, yeah, I mean, KO into Night Haunt's already a bad matchup, right? Because
Yeah.
the 4-up is not good for them.
Night Haunt does well. Night Haunt will be a nightmare against you.
Yeah,
Right.
and most KO lists, I would imagine, right? Like that's
Yeah.
not great for them. Okay, so I mean, what
I
are
think it's decent.
okay, okay.
I my favorite so far, I think.
Agreed. But I just think there's a lot of counters. Like this will win against a lot of things, but then there's a
Yeah.
lot of things that it will just
Rock
do
paper
nothing
scissors. This is a
against.
very rock
Yeah.
paper scissors.
I feel like this one so far is leading you to your GT performance that you're hoping to complete.
Okay. All right. So I do like this list. It is kind of fun to throw 4 gun haulers on the field and just like they're just cool levels. So okay, all right. Next. All right, you guys are gonna hate this one, but I put it in here because okay. So I have a
Instantly top one.
Okay, yeah, I know this is your like least favorite Cameron. So I will say this: the RTT that I did win, this is relatively close to what I took. And Nagash got a bump in power. So, not saying that this is a 5-0 winning list all the time, but I did win with this list. This is my first win from an RTT. And it was fun. It was fun.
It's so bad.
Hey, I won with this list. Okay, Cameron. Okay, so
Why not Blade Geist over the Grimgas?
I don't have them. I do not have Blade Geist Revenants. I know it's like that's the number one thing you get, but I don't have them. I don't have them painted.
So good.
I know they're good. I need them, but I don't have them. They would absolutely be in here other than the Reapers, 100%.
Does the Spirit Host's bodyguard work on Nagash? Doesn't it?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think it does.
That would be broken.
I think if that worked like that, I think it automatically goes up a tier.
Oh,
Yeah.
does it? Okay, so fix this, Cameron. Take out Nagash, because I know you're going to do that instantly. With the models that I have on here.
Now you're just saying build an army because
Build a
Okay, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. That's totally fair. Okay, so
there's like 2 trains of thought with Night Haunt. There's either Hero Hammer or there's like spam your flavor of subfaction.
The problem is you're going to need to paint so many models
to make it work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
But in
or
this,
borrow some of mine.
Yeah. Like.
I mean, I have quite a bit of Night Haunt that I've painted, but I don't have anything that's a meta list for Night Haunt, right? Like I don't have the Revenants. I don't have the what is this? The Cruciator. Cruciator, the one with -1 damage.
Do you have Myrmidons?
Yeah, I do have. I have Mermoin. Or no, Mermoin. Are you talking about the Banshees?
Merman Banshees.
Oh,
I had the
Herodons.
Banshees. Herodons. There we go.
I have 10 Herodons painted. That's enough.
Yeah, not enough.
I know, not enough. I know. Okay.
So I think you will have fun with a list similar to this, but I don't see you getting far.
Okay, so this is like a 2-3 for you.
Yeah, this is the you sitting on the table and going yeah, and then dying.
Hey, you know what? My Nagash makes sounds, so that's what makes this.
Particularly to a KO player, he's going to be like, "Oh, Nagash, want me to shoot him?
Yeah.
Turn 1, and then your Slanesh player."
And then just shake hands and.
Why is Nagash still at 965? Can we not bring him down? Like, how ridiculous. Alright, well, moving on. Alright. Oh, this one Cameron knows a lot about. Monster Truckin. So this is a little bit different than Cameron's list. But it's essentially the same concept, right? Just as anything that's Boulderhead, you just go in. I think the Tyrant is hilarious.
Yes, he is.
I think he is absolutely hilarious and want to use him. So I have not tested with this army at all. So I would have to. It's on my list to test in the next couple weeks, but I'd have to jump on this.
So it's a good list. What you're going to have a problem with is it is surprisingly how easy Stonehorns die fast, especially the ones that are not Frost Lords.
Okay.
Because they have a 4-up save. They you look at them, it's like, all right, it's a 4-up save. They have like I think 15 wounds in Boulder Head. That's like 15 or 16, and then a 5-up ward. You're like, oh man, that's really good. You'll do amazing the first turn, and then everything will go down very fast. And you have 5 models to fight with.
Yes.
It's just
That's gonna be tough. This one's.
I think also the Stonehorn don't get the non-hero version. They don't get to issue commands, do they?
no,
Or are
they
they
do not. They are not elite.
Yeah. So.
Oh snap! That's really unfortunate.
So unless they're
Yeah.
running next to the Frost Lord, you don't get to do all-out defense. You don't get all-out attack.
Oof, that's rough.
And that's why my list had another hero out there, so I could stay with them.
Okay, so then run another Frost Lord is what you're saying?
If you have another Frost Lord, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just Frost Lords are good. Like, they're really good. They're just expensive.
Okay. All right.
It also drop you out of a 1-drop, but
Yep.
I think that's fine. Just stay at 2-drop.
Okay. 2-drop I can handle. That's fine. I don't want to go less than that though. Okay, so maybe I drop Stonehorn for another Frost Lord and see if that works. Okay. Some testing I can do with that. All right. Oh god, this thing. Okay, so I just tested this list. If there, okay, so my number one model that I hate the most, right, is the stupid little dwarf. What's his name?
He's
Gotrek?
Warzag, the Great King Prophet.
What?
Gotrek?
Yeah, Gotrek. Thank you. That piece of garbage. Yeah. Oh, we lost Cameron. Where did Cameron go? I hope he comes back. I don't know what happened to him. Oh, there he is. He's back. What happened to you?
Hear me? I don't know.
Oh, that was weird. Okay, anyway. Yeah, Gotrek. One of the worst models I hate, right? But the stupid War God Prophet is definitely up there. This stupid little model can just annihilate anything it wants to with, like, no problem. I just don't understand this stupid thing. Like, I know it's a slot machine, but for the most part, this thing kills so much. I just don't understand it. I just don't get it.
What else does Bonesplitterz have?
Kragnos, right? I'm running Kragnos. That's basically it.
Yeah.
So it's bodies. I could technically. I don't want to do it because I played against it and it was miserable, and I don't really want to do that to other players. But I could technically run the Stabas list.
You have 22 big Stabas?
Yes. And they're all painted. And it's actually really nicely painted too.
I think it's more point cost efficient now to run Savage Big Bosses, isn't it?
The thing is the wait, what do you mean?
So you run like 5 Savage Big Bosses and then a Wargog Prophet because they're 80 points each.
Sure.
Yeah, they all fight right after each other.
Sure. Yep. Yeah, you could, but they're not great in combat. I wouldn't
No,
do that.
but they're doing the same thing the big Stabas are, which is just filling the board.
Yeah. I will say the other thing too is that it's one of the first times I tested out the Quicksilver swords. Dude, that thing does some serious damage. I'd like to see the stats on the Quicksilver swords versus the Ravanax Gnashing Jaws and which one does more damage on average. That Quicksilver swords it's brutal. That thing is crazy good.
I almost feel like in this list you want to drop the big Stabas, and just take 2 units of Boar Boys, 2 Tin-Man units. Because
they're so bad though. They're so garbage, James.
But you can pin you. So here's my idea, Cameron.
Okay.
Run with me here.
All right.
You got your 2 Tin-Man blocks back to back with each other, and you got Kragnos by them. And you take turn 1, you got your battle regiment. Then you use Great Hunt so that they get an 8-inch move. So now they're 8 inches out, right? Then what you do is you run Kragnos as guaranteed 6. So he's all the way up there on turn 1, and then you move the boar
Yeah,
boys.
you
They're
just
10
shove,
inches.
Yeah, you just shove the boar boys into
Yeah,
whatever, and you pin them.
and then Kragnos gives the boar boys 3d6 charge.
Yeah.
So then you could put 2 waves of all your boar boys into their army turn 1.
They're so bad though. They're just going to die in droves.
So
And
you
their
can then pop your
their
wah,
bravery,
and they got a 4 award.
Yeah, their bravery is also a 5.
A 5 bravery. Oh my gosh.
It's real bad.
Kragnos is there. He'll save 1.
Oh my god. So I don't
I
think
disagree with this, but I think it'd be fun.
I don't. I could take a bunch of big stabbers and just run that list, but out of all the games of Age of Sigmar that I've played, that is the #1 game I've hated the most playing against. It was miserable.
Or you can just get 5 Wargog Prophets.
Okay, we're done with this conversation.
And the
Hate that thing. I will say, I'm not gonna lie, those Wargog Prophets, they do damage. They literally do damage. It is insane how much damage they can output. Like doing some testing with these guys,
it's the how dare you get
15,
close to me.
20 mortal wounds. 15, 20 mortal wounds for a single prophet. It's just crazy. It's just absolutely insane how much damage they put out. It's just crazy. For a little 170 dork. Okay, well, I mean, other than the big stabbers, anything else? I mean, Savage Orcs, are they any good? I don't play much Bonesplitterz. And I was tempted to take Big Wa because that's actually coming up in the meta pretty well right now. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Big Wa's great.
But
Big Wa is great.
But the problem is they don't have Ard Boys or Brutes painted, and that's the problem.
I have Brutes and I have Ard Boys.
All painted?
All my Brutes are painted. My Ard Boys just some of them need some paint, but almost all of them are painted. Yeah.
I mean, I really want to take Big Wa because I think it's decent. I just don't have anything.
I really like Big Wa.
You're free to come by, Joel, and see what I have.
Yeah, maybe I'll take you up on that. We'll see where you guys rank this on everything else, but I would definitely change Bonesplitterz to a Big Wa for sure and run that. I think that's got some legs, and I do think, especially in the current meta, it's can be pretty decent. So we'll see. All right, let's move on to this is the vampire one. This is the one we've already talked about, right?
Yeah.
We've already talked about maybe taking out the Graveguard for more bodies. I pretty much have most of, and Cameron does too, most of this painted, so I could technically, other than zombies, right? The only downside with this is, does this get nerfed before the June GT? I don't think this list does as well.
I don't know, going with how long it takes them to do FAQs.
Yeah, it's ridiculous now. It used to be like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Now it's like a month and a half,
That being said, I mean, to their point, they've released books like it's candy, right?
Yeah. I think it's good until there's an FAQ.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's decent. It's very competitive. It's probably a little egregious.
Once it gets to its FAQ, I think it's still going to be good, but not overpoweringly good.
I agree.
Do is the tournament organizer allowing books without FAQs?
So far, I know Seraphon's also allowed for the new book as well.
Okay.
So I think everything's just. I think it's good to go. So.
Okay.
All right, so we'll move on. I really want to run this just because I want to see what it is. I know dragons are no longer, meta, but I do want to see how this. I've not tested this yet.
Oops, almost all dragons.
Yes, oops, almost all dragons. Because it's not all dragons. I have some other things in here. For the most part, though, this is oops, all dragons. I don't have a whole lot of painted Stormcasts, but I put the Lord Arcanum in here because the healing spell for the guard would be pretty good. So this is my. What do you guys think of my Oops Almost All Dragons? This is a 1-drop too, which is very nice.
Let's see what do you got here.
I think it's got legs. I think it's not bad.
My biggest concern with this is you've only got one GV or GC.
Yeah, I agree. And they don't
Um,
have
and
particularly great battle tactics.
Yeah,
Yep,
you had to go into the GCs.
yeah, and he doesn't have. He's not the one with the teleport, right?
No.
Knight
Yeah, so
Cantor? No.
no, so you have no way to move him around because his aspect of the champion is fueled by Girl's Rage. So he doesn't have Tunnel Master. He doesn't have teleport. So he's got a foot slog anywhere, and without two of them, you already cut out one of your battle tactics.
Right. I mean, I still have ways to get around the board for battle tactics, though. It's not. You don't
Also, with the
need-
aspects of the champion, I've come to the conclusion that Tunnel Master is by far the one you should take at all times.
Yeah, pretty much there too.
Okay.
It gets you everywhere you need to be at
If you
the
need
right
it.
time.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Okay, I'm good with that. I'm gonna look at my list and probably change some things with that.
And the Gyrus Grade is great. And you're like, man, haha, I have Gyrus Grade, and then it fails you.
I
Like,
know.
wow, that sucks.
That's the one thing. So you know me, I roll poorly, and I'll roll that 1 or 2 every time. So.
And I don't think your Emerald Life Swarm is ever going to do anything.
Oh yeah, just get rid of the Emerald Life Swarm. It's
Well,
it's
okay,
worthless.
so I'll go 1960 and just have a triumph. That's fine. Okay, well, so what? Other than that, was there anything else you would change in this? I mean, I know it's dragons. It's like right. It's
I wouldn't run dragons.
okay, great. Well, thanks, James.
All right, so you can go ahead and get rid of the Liberators.
Okay.
Let's see.
I would love to see like 15 Judicators in this list.
I do have judicators. I think I've
You have
got
15 of them.
No, I don't have 15. I think I can tell you. Hold on.
Like if you could drop the Liberators and the Retributors and take 15 Judicators, I think that's where it's at.
Or you drop the Liberators, Retributors, and their Emerald Life Swarm, and you put 2 more dragons in.
I do have 2 more dragons, but that's literally oops all dragons. I don't know if.
I know. What's the problem?
Okay. Well. Okay.
If you want all dragons, oops all dragons.
Yeah.
Uh,
I don't want no oops almost all dragons. No, it's
Oh
oops,
no, I
all
only
dragons.
have 5 of the crossbows and 5 of the bows, and then I've got 9 long strikes. But
Yeah,
I
the
did-
long strike's just not double shooting anymore.
I know.
Just kind of takes the wind out of it.
Yep.
But Judicators, juicy.
Agreed.
I mean, I could put one of them in. I don't know if it's worth it. The judicators are obnoxious, though. They are hard to get.
If you can give them Sharpshooter, they're worth it, but you can't. So I
Okay.
would.
So you take the Lord Arcanum on Griff Charger, and you change it to the teleporting GC.
Okay, Relictor.
Then you take the 5 Liberators and the 5 Retributors. You get rid of them.
Okay.
You turn into Knight Excelsior, and then you put into Annihilators. 2 units of Annihilators.
Okay. Is it just for the movement shenanigans?
So what it is you'll have 6 dragons on the board, and then you'll have the 2 Annihilators up in space, and then you just go, all right, I want to go over there, and then you just throw a crap ton of mortal wounds at them. And
Okay,
you can
so my
move.
question is, with the Relictor, am I only using the teleport spell on the GCs? Because I don't need them for anything else.
Oh yeah, just get rid of the teleport at that point.
Okay.
Do another GC, the teleporting GC,
Okay.
or the Lord Imperatant if you have the points.
I don't know if I have one. I think I
Then
have one.
teleporting GC it is.
Okay. All right. I'll give that a shot. I haven't tested this yet, but maybe I'll give this. Maybe I'll do this on Thursday, Cameron.
Okay.
We'll see. I don't know what I'm gonna play yet on Thursday, but we'll see. I'd like to give this a shot just because I want to see kind of the output and what it does. I don't think dragons are terrible, right?
No, they're not terrible. They just have a bad rap.
Yeah, they
I
do.
hate them.
Yeah, it's and they're very swingy, right? So, okay, all right, I'll give that a shot. All right.
All right. Well, what's your last list here?
Last list. I forgot what it is. Oh, you're not gonna like this one either. This one is Sylvaneth. Okay, so hear me out. Okay. This won a GT, I believe. That being said, the person who played it was a Sylvaneth player to heart, and they were very good with the list, right? So I'm nowhere near that. But it does have some shooting power in this thing. Like this thing, I know Cameron hates this list. He is anti great bows, and I understand why. But
I don't think they're that great, but I do see like this is actually a very good list.
like if this thing hits, and you have to deal with Ilario as well. So like, I want to give this a shot to kind of see how this plays. It's very low wounds. It's a 1-drop, which is very nice. Thoughts on this one?
This is a very good list. It's a very techie list, though.
It is very techie, 100%.
If you do not know what you're doing with this, you are not going to do well. If you know what you're doing with this, then you will do very well.
Well, this is why I have you, Cameron, because I know you play Summoning.
I feel like it would. I would like if I was taken to a GT, I would want to play like 10 games with it at least to really solidify the tech, because it's going to be super unforgiving. And
100%. 100%.
Knowing where your breakpoints are on your dice rolls is going to make or break this army.
Now that being said, if I decide to do this, I can put in some time to get this learned pretty well. I don't know if I'll be a pro at it by the time I get to the GT, but
also if you fail that two up with that Spite Swarm Hive, just throw away the game at that point.
Yep. I've seen it fail twice. In fact, with the Smite GT we went last year, the dude that I was playing, if he failed it twice in 2 turns. I felt real bad. That sucks.
Oof.
Okay, so I like that you guys like this list, though. That's good.
It's a good list.
Okay.
Like it's definitely a good list.
Okay. All right, let me get my little. You guys do your deliberating on what you guys think. I'm gonna get my little ranking thing out here. Hold on.
All right, I've already ranked everything from 1 to 10.
Oh my god. Okay.
I haven't written anything down. I was
it's
hoping
fine.
to get like a
I'll,
breakdown of all of them, and I could just go as I please.
Yep. I'll show you a little ranking, and then you can do it from there. 1 second. Let me just get this going here. I want to hide this. Second, apparently I didn't get this set up. We want
I know who my number 1 is, at least.
Oh, I know exactly who my number 1 is too.
Okay, give me a second. Hold on. This is screen. I will readjust this in a second. I don't know if you guys can see that. Hopefully you guys can. Like, of course, all my bookmarks are there, so it's fun.
Can't see it. Yeah.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just scroll down a little bit.
Yeah. So these are the 10 that I have my lists, right? And we'll just rank them S to D, right? We'll just do it that way. So we'll start with. Oh no, Cameron! What in the world?
Cameron's out. It's too much pressure for him.
I'm telling you, this thing. It's either Cameron or this thing like skips out for whatever reason.
Do you want to go in order, or do we want to go
I'm just gonna pick one, and you just tell me where it fits.
Okay.
I'm gonna wait for Cameron though.
Yep.
I don't know what happened to him. I swear I'm not.
Is he
there
coming
is.
back? There he is.
Hello, I'm back.
I'm not doing
I hear
it.
you.
I promise.
Yeah. Welcome back.
Okay.
Your voice got deeper.
It did.
Uh-oh. Oh, well.
No, you sound fine. You're okay. All right.
good.
Let's start with Blades of Corn. Where are we ranking this?
All right. I put it in number 6 for me.
Yeah. I would say something like B.
Okay. So,
B, C.
I'm putting this at a C.
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I like it a C better.
Okay.
C.
It's
So-
too swingy.
So
Too swingy.
we'll say what S is 5-0, A is 4-1, B is 3-2, 2-3.
I'm gonna mark it down how I see it.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Let's go with Bonesplitterz.
Bone
Oh,
Splitters.
I'm putting that as a D.
Okay.
D. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a
I
D.
figured. If I swap that to Big Wah, maybe that would go up. So.
Yeah, but until I see it, it doesn't exist.
Yeah, 100%. Okay. All right. Night Hunt.
Oh, that's an S for me.
Shut up, Cameron.
um.
Other than that, it's a D.
Yeah.
It's either an S or a D.
Okay, so is it better or worse than Bonesplitterz?
Better, I would
Better.
say.
Fair. Okay, I agree with that. I think I agree with that. All right, let's do Soul Blight. Let's do pre-nerf.
I give it an A.
Yeah. A's fine with me.
I would probably
I don't think it's an S, but
Yeah.
definitely an A.
Top
It's
A
not
for
my
sure.
one.
Top
Yeah.
A for sure. Post nerf, I think this goes to A or B.
It might still be an A post nerf for me. It just moves in the A.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do ogres.
B.
E, definitely.
Okay, all right.
That was my number 5.
That was
Yeah.
your number 5. Okay, all right. Let's do flesh eater.
D.
Is it
Your flesh eater courts I put as a D.
Thanks, Cameron. Where would that fit in here?
Better than Nagash.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's probably
Wow,
the top
really? You
D
think
one.
so? You think the flesh eater one's
Yeah.
better than Nagash?
Better,
Okay.
more bodies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fair. Definitely not, great, but all right. So let's do IDK.
I put it. It's a D. That's why.
God damn
Yeah.
it! All
I
right,
think
so
it's
what-
a D also.
I know this one's not good. I would probably say this is better than.
I think it's
Splitters.
after Flesh Eater Court's better than Night Hunt.
I can agree with that.
Okay. Well, I'm not scoring very hot here, guys. All right, let's do.
It's too many jack of all trades.
I know.
Yeah.
I get
Yeah.
you. I'm 100%. I'm trying to work with the models I have, right? So.
Yeah, I got you.
KO.
Yeah, that's my S.
That's your S. Okay.
I'll put it as an. I have it as an A,
Okay.
but
Is it better
I think
or
it's
worse than Soul Blight?
I think it's better. I think that's your best list in my opinion.
I think it's slightly worse than it. But
I agree. I think it is slightly worse than Soul Blight, but I definitely think it's one of my better lists. I think. I'll say this: post nerf, I think KO moves ahead of Soul Blight.
The reason I would put it ahead is just the battle tactics in the KO book are just so good. So
Yeah,
like
it's
you can
not-
play
Yeah,
that
but
army
Soul
to
Blight's
the battle tactics.
Soul
The
Blight.
Soul Blight ones aren't bad. Don't
real
get me.
good
I
too,
understand.
though.
they're also
And-
pretty good.
Yes, and they play strong, but man, KO is just so good.
Okay. I could go either way with one of these, right? I could go either way.
Yeah.
I need to do a little bit more testing with KO just to make sure I have, because it is a very techie army. You got to really know what you're doing with that. So, let's go with Oops All Dragons. Oops, Almost All Dragons.
C.
I put it high C,
Okay, so ahead of Corn.
Yeah.
especially if you do my Annihilator idea.
Yeah, I might play around with that. I actually like that quite a bit. Okay, and then last is Sylvaneth.
I'm gonna put it at a B, or so it's like the lowest A or the highest B.
Okay.
I'll go
And-
with low A, but you have very little experience with it.
Yes, I really think like it would require. And that's why I said high B. I was like, it would push you to an A if you were experienced and you played the army a lot.
So I will say, the Sylvaneth army that we have painted is extremely well painted. So I might push and get that done and do some. I mean, I'm gonna need some help with this though, like Cameron. If we do some playtesting with this, I know you know it quite a bit, so I'll need a little bit of assistance. But I don't mind putting in the time to learn it. I just put in time, right? It's all about time. Okay. I agree with a lot of this. I in my opinion, I would probably move Soul Blight right now in S. That'd be my only thing. I think they are very egregious and really good right now. But yeah, so I would agree. I definitely like these top 4 armies quite a bit. Even the Stormcast one, I'm pretty cool with. Okay, all right, okay. Any other comments on this before we go to our last slide? Just our ending slide here.
No.
All right, let me pop this thing back up. Change that later. Okay. All right, let's go to our last slide. Just a conclusion, right? So next week, I'm not exactly sure what we're doing. I think the lists are due for the GT on the 5th of June, I believe. So not
5th of June? I got plenty of time.
yeah, not too much time, but enough time to do some more practicing. I want to do a show. I don't know if James, the other James Flanzier, or I think that's his name. I don't know if he's going to release the lists early so people can look at it. I think last year he did, but I don't know if he's going to do that. But if they do release the lists, I'd love to do a show and just go over some of the lists that we think are going to do well.
Is this the GT at Gamers Guild?
Yes.
Yes.
Isn't Jason running it?
Jason, not James. Jason Flanzer, right?
Yeah.
Flanzer, is that
Jason
like
Flanzers.
Yes. I don't know why I said James. Jason Flanzer. He's doing. I don't know if he's gonna release the list early though. Like I don't know if after June 5th we'll know what everyone's playing. I hope so. It'd be nice to do a show on that. So we'll figure out what we're gonna do next week. I'm not sure yet. Maybe we'll do. I don't know what we'll do. We'll figure something out. Like always, comment, subscribe, share. Obviously, anything you can do to get the word out there. I still want to grow the channel as much as we can. But yeah, that's all I got. Any other last comments for tonight's show? Anything? Any other ideas you guys want to do next week?
Not that I know right now.
We could do.
I could go over the Seraphon book. Have you guys already done that?
Yeah, we already did that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Obnoxious, that Starborn. We could do just go out there on a limb and be like, let's do Chaos Dwarves. Let's do Total War, and Cameron can show everyone how the game's actually played.
I think you could do. There's what I think
Death of Forge
Warhammer
World.
Weekly does like what I want to see, what could be the future.
Yeah.
Show.
Yeah, we could do that. I always like doing those what if shows. It's kind of fun. It's funny we did that. What we think is gonna be in the FAQ, and they literally released the FAQ the day after we did the show. It was fun. All right. Well, other than that, we'll talk to you guys next week, and have a fantastic rest of your night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.